Today we're going to be taking some troughs and turning them into berry beds. I got these Tarter Troughs at our local Lowe's. They're the kind of medium-sized trough. I think I've seen them at Home Depot before and Menards, but we got ours at Lowe's. I want to take raspberries and blackberries, these two, I don't know if you can see them, but they're in these pots. That was a temporary home, and I want to get them into a more permanent situation. When you're looking for things to plant your raspberries or blackberries in, I would be aware that they do like to spread. So you're gonna look for some container that actually has a bottom. So the first step in the process is kind of intimidating. I've got a 20-volt drill here with a metal bit on it. I think as long as you have the right tools, it's not as intimidating as you would think. We've got to drill some drainage holes in the bottom of these so water doesn't collect. There is a drainage release valve on the side of the trough, but that won't be good enough to actually drain out all of the water. So we actually are going to drill in about 6 holes at the bottom. We're going to be feeding through a drip irrigation tube, which I'll show along the way, but this is the first step in the process. So here we go. So we ended up doing 5 different drainage holes here. I did a pretty big size, so I think that 5 is going to end up being enough for this size trough. You can see I did one in the center here, I did some towards the edges. Hopefully they don't get stopped up. We'll just be using dirt in our trough, so the likelihood of them getting stopped is pretty slim. They're also going to be sitting on this pea gravel, which should help with drainage. Okay, so we've got our holes in the bottoms of both of these containers. I think I'm gonna set them here. Our backyard is a work in progress currently. We live in the middle of a construction zone. I don't know if you can see around, but we have houses going up, seems like every 2 weeks. We are eventually going to be planting in between. These are sweet gums. There's a certain variety that is a more columnar, grows taller and stays really thin. I'm not sure what we're gonna plant in between these yet. So for now, I can always move these. I mean, it will be a pain because they're gonna be really heavy. But for now, I think we're gonna set these in this area. I wanna be able to see them while I'm looking at our raised garden beds, which I'll go over in another video. But I think this is the best place for them for now. So the next step in the process is setting these up on drip irrigation. I'll have another video out soon on how I've set up our zones and our drip irrigation for our whole yard. I do not want to come out and hand water these every day. It gets pretty hot. We live in Kentucky, so in our summers it stays pretty humid, but it does get pretty warm and soil dries out fast, especially in raised containers. So I do want to set these up on drip irrigation. So I did want to show you all up close. I use Rainbird. The only place I'm able to find this material for drip irrigation is Menards here in my local city. I know that sometimes it's available on Amazon. You can also go to the Rainbird website, but I find it physically in a store here at Menards. This is a 1/4-inch drip tube. So I'm going to be running this through these from underneath, and then I will leave a supply line that's kind of sticking up out of the soil, and then I'll show you how I connect that to ones that actually emit water. These have no holes in them, so this is literally just to get water from one place to the next place. But I'll show you along the process. And here I've got my Felcos. I'm just going to use these to clip this where I need to clip it. now we have to fill them. I know it is tempting to go out into your local landscape and fill a container with soil just from the ground. What you're gonna run into if you do that is the soil is gonna end up turning into like a cakey mixture, and it's not gonna let water drain easily out of whatever you're using. I know I've got these raised beds as well as these. I'm gonna fill them with the same medium, and the medium that I'm using is a Miracle Grow raised garden mix. It's pre-mixed, it is organic. I have run into the issue with Miracle Grow where I do find sometimes it's like metal debris in it. It's just what I can get my hands on, and it's the cheapest option for me. I know there are other soil blends out there. I just kind of trust Miracle Grow because it's what I've always used. Some people do fill the bottoms of these with pine nuggets or other mediums like cardboard. I am just going to be using raised garden mix. Okay, I actually want to talk about what we're going to be planting in the trough bed that we've just filled with soil. It's going to be this blackberry here. It is a proven winner variety. It is called Taste of Heaven. I got mine off of Proven Winners Direct, which is a website that you can order Proven Winners plants on. I haven't ever seen this one available in our stores here in Kentucky. They might be available in some of the bigger cities, but definitely not where I'm located. It is a thornless blackberry variety. It stays pretty compact. They do recommend it for container gardening. It's 3 to 5 feet tall and I think 2 to 3 feet wide. It does not require any staking at all. I did have some supports on it, mostly for aesthetic reasons, but when we put it in the trough, we're not actually going to be using any supports at all. The reason that I actually had it in this container was because our backyard was under a renovation for what seemed like years, but it was actually only about a year. As soon as I got this cement poured that I'm standing on, I went ahead and got this blackberry because I was really excited about spring. So now I've got to put it in as kind of its permanent home. I know some people will tell you not to transplant things. It's still pretty early in the season for us. It's getting, I would say it's averaging about 75 degrees. I'm just gonna have to make sure that when I do transplant it, that I fertilize it and that I water it consistently. So I'll take you on this journey. I'm gonna kind of dig it out of this pot and we're gonna get it moved over into the Tarter Trough. Okay, we got it dug up. As you can see, I tried to keep a pretty big root ball. A root ball is just exactly what it sounds like. It's the ball that the roots kind of form in and the soil that it grips to hold that ball. You want to try and keep that as intact as possible. If you break the root ball, you're probably going to kill the plant. So the root ball is pretty intact, and as you can see, it was very happy in its home over by the porch. It's got a ton of growth points on it. The plant's doing really, really well. This is a summer variety. I know that it's going to start producing fruit here soon, but they're not going to be ready to harvest until the end of summer. I wanted to show you as well what fertilizer we're going to be using today. This is Biotone starter fertilizer. I use it anytime that I am putting a plant into the ground or in a container, and all it does is just boost root growth. I don't use it once the plant is in the ground. Then I'll switch to a different kind of fertilizer, which I'm sure I'll show in a video coming up. but I just wanted to explain this to you guys. Please don't judge me. I eyeball the starter fertilizer. I do not follow the package instructions like I should. This is kind of difficult to find. I found that local gardening stores partner with the Spoma a lot more than your big box stores. I actually order mine on a 3-pack on Amazon, and I can show you guys that link at some point. But here we go. We're gonna go ahead and get this Blackberry in the ground. Well, in the trough. I wanted to show you all before we started some of the drip supplies that we're going to use to connect this to the main drip system. I will have drip videos coming out soon. We have a ton of drip projects to get completed, unfortunately. It's my least favorite job in the garden, but I do love once it's there how much better it makes everything. Giving consistent water to your plants just makes them thrive. So you will see a video where I explain from point A to point B exactly how the drip system is going to operate and how frequently it's going to water and for how long. But I wanted to go show you guys our drip supplies here. This is the 1/4-inch drip tubing that actually has emitters. I believe this one is every 12 inches. For this size plant, I'm probably going to have about 4 emitters on the top, might do 3. As I work through the project, I'll show you when we're done exactly how many that I used. But this is what we're going to be using on top. You saw earlier we used that black drip hose. That actually has no emitters in it. That's just to run the water up. This is what we'll lay on top of the soil that will actually give water to the plant. I keep all of my drip supplies kind of organized in this, I think it's a DeWalt. It's meant for tools, but I kind of keep all my supplies. It's the best way that I've found to keep them organized and be able to have them mobile so I can take them around the garden with me. All right, that's this project complete. We did run the drip tubing with emitters on the top. I made kind of a kidney bean shape. I wanted to make sure that I got an emitter close to the root ball. Eventually, the plant roots will spread out, so getting this whole thing soaked would be a really good idea. But I wanted to make sure that as we're getting ready to get into the heat of the summer, that I had an emitter close to the root ball. I used, these are garden staples. I get these at Menards. I find them the cheapest there. But I did use these staples to kind of tack this down so that wind doesn't move it and that I can control exactly where the water goes. So that's it. That's this project completely wrapped up. We got everything set up on drip. The bed is filled with raised garden mix and the plant seems pretty happy. Again, this was a proven winner's variety Blackberry plant that is thornless and stays pretty compact. I'll show you all throughout the season its progress. Hopefully it won't look bad, but I think it's going to be great. If you guys have any ideas of projects that you want to see me do, just please comment below, let me know. I look forward to sharing all of our projects around our new home with you all. Look forward to the next one. Bye.